Please, no! 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 No!
Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports show that does not apologize for championship rings and tings, presented by Bolen Media. I am Ross Bolen, and I truly hope you did not spend your entire weekend watching all 4 games of that godforsaken series like I did. Holy hell, that was not fun. What remains of the Astros spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday getting swept by the last place Oakland Athletics in embarrassing fashion. It was a truly, truly miserable experience. To put things in perspective, the Athletics are currently 15 games back of the Astros in the division race, and that's after beating us 4 times in a row. The A's are not a team you should be getting swept by, obviously. That being said, you have to give credit where it's due. The Athletics are a young team with a lot of serious potential and talent, particularly offensively, including 6'5", 240-pound demon monster rookie Nick Kurtz, who I never want to see the Astros pitch to ever again. On Friday night, when the A's beat the ever-living shit out of the Stros 15-3, Nick Kurtz threw down one of the most incredible individual performances in the history of the sport of baseball, and that is not even an exaggeration. He became the first rookie ever to hit 4 ding-dongs in a single game. He was a triple shy of the cycle in the 4th inning. He went 6 for 6 with 4 home runs. He's just the 20th player in MLB history to go yard 4 times in one game. He tied Sean Green in 2002 for the most total bases in a game all time with 19. It was disgusting. It was amazing. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in any sport, honestly, especially for a rookie. I'm being serious when I say I never want to see another Astros pitcher throw this man a strike the rest of his career. I don't care what happens for him moving forward. The Astros should never pitch to Nick Kurtz ever again. The A's also have All-Star and Home Run Derby participant Brent Rooker. Anyway, the A's own the Astros and have for some time now for whatever reason. Call it playing down to the competition, call it whatever you want. But the fact is, the thing I feared and discussed last week finally came to fruition. At some point, math is going to catch up to you. When you're running out a mostly minor league ball club over and over against big league talent, eventually you're going to lose some games. And with 18 players on the injured list, the Astros are a mostly minor league ball club. We scored 7 runs in 4 games against one of the worst teams in baseball. There's no way around that. Got outscored 32-7 at home in a 4-game series. And in a season that has been marred by serious injuries to pivotal players, this was the low point, or we hope it was the low point. You have to hope it doesn't get worse than this. Now, if you're looking for silver linings, the A's also swept the Astros in 2017 and 2022, and we won the World Series both those years. And I know things feel particularly bleak at the moment, but the Astros are 4-6 since the All-Star break, with a roster filled almost entirely by guys who weren't on the 40-man roster when the season started. So really, what did we expect? The Astros are 5-11 across their past 16 games, and somehow they still have a 4-game division lead. The Rangers, over the weekend, caught up to the Mariners, and now both the Rangers and Mariners are 4 games back of the Stros in the AL West. But yeah, the Athletics single-handedly destroyed any and all goodwill the backup boys, trademark copyright, had built up. And I take back everything I said last week about not necessarily needing to see anything crazy from Dana Brown before the trade deadline. The deadline is in 3 days, and the Astros badly need reinforcements. The time of the backup boys must come to an end. They held it down the best they could for as long as they could, but it has become abundantly clear that especially when we have big league bats like Yanier Diaz underperforming, hell, even Jose Altuve has been slumping a bit, we need offense. 7 runs in 4 games against the Athletics is a pretty significant red flag. Cam Smith is 5 for his last 51 at-bats, and he's been asked to carry a heavier workload than clearly he was ready for. So, on Sunday afternoon, General Manager Dana Brown called the Isaac Paredes hamstring injury, quote, a little bit more severe than we projected, end quote. So more and more, it's seeming like Paredes might be out the rest of the year. A devastating blow to the Stros. TIH, this is Houston. God left this place a long time ago. And even if Yordan Alvarez comes back at some point in the month of August, he's been out since early May and is unlikely to come out firing, and who knows how long he'll even be able to stay healthy and in the lineup. It sounds like his hand is expected to be a long-term lingering issue. Apparently surgery isn't an option, and rest is the only remedy. So you just don't know with Yordan. Jeremy Pena is nearly ready to make his return from his rib injury, but he's been out almost a month and also can't be expected to just pick up where he left off. I hope he does, but we can't expect that. Look at things this way. To make it more positive, those are arguably your 3 biggest offensive producers right there, between Paredes, Yordan, and Pena. 2 of them are about ready to return to the lineup. Jake Myers should also be back in August as well, and he's having a career year at the plate. So offensive firepower is theoretically on the way, but you've got a big hole to fill now at third base as a result of the Isaac Paredes injury, which is apparently quite bad. That's a hole you have to wonder if Dana Brown will fill at the fucking deadline. Then you've got 4 starting pitchers nearing return between Christian Javier, Spencer Arrighetti, Luis Garcia, and JP France, not to mention Lance McCullers Jr., who surely won't be out that much longer with a blister boo-boo on his finger. This is what puts the Astros in such a weird spot at the deadline. You don't need any more arms, really. You need bats. But you've got a few coming back shortly, so you don't want to overreact, blow your wad unnecessarily, and shell out a bunch of prospective minor league talent just to fill holes that might be filled naturally in time. The fan base, of course, is in shambles, with people begging Dana Brown to trade for, wait for it, Carlos Correa. Carlos Correa's name started flying around the Astros Twitter sphere over the weekend. That's where we're at. I personally, look, I love Carlos Correa. Love Carlos Correa. I played Fortnite with Carlos Correa once, but that's neither here nor there. I personally see absolutely no reason to risk this reunion. But the point is we're getting desperate here. And nobody can really say if that desperation is truly warranted or not. Diamondbacks third baseman Eugenio Suarez seems like a no-brainer on paper, seeing as that he's crushed 36 bombs this season with 87 RBIs, and we don't currently have a third baseman. And he already has a relationship with Venezuelan countryman Jose Altuve, but Suarez will be expensive and coveted. We would not be the only team gunning for Suarez, and it is yet to be seen if Dana Brown is willing to pay a high price for a position player. Plus, Suarez is right-handed when Dana Brown has openly prioritized looking for left-handed bats, and Suarez strikes out a lot, which we do enough of as a team currently. Chandler Rome has reported that Twins utility man Willie Castro is another player on the Astros' radar, who Chandler calls a, quote, far better fit for their roster, end quote. But Willie is another dude who will draw significant interest from contending teams, driving his price up. Both Suarez and Willie are rentals in the last year of their contract. So we'll see what happens at the trade deadline. But at this point, you have to hope Dana Brown and the Astros do something. Even considering all of the talent we might be on the verge of getting back. And I'll believe it when I see it. Like, you sort of need to consider the fact that the backup boys, trademark copyright, were able to serve as a Band-Aid for a short while, but clearly we're not exactly overly confident that any of those guys are going to be long-term fits in the lineup if we have other players go down. So you need more big league talent on the roster if you're going to deal with as many injuries as this team has over the course of a single freaking season. The squad is currently 60-46, heading into their final series of the month of July, okay? 60-46 is not a bad spot to be in. 4 games up in the division is not a bad spot to be in. We've got 3 games against the Washington Nationals at home for this final series of July, starting tonight at 7:10 with Framber Valdez on the bump. We're in a stretch right now where, despite a 162-game season, stacking some wins in the next couple weeks feels vital while we seek to get the roster back to something even close to resembling full strength and hopefully pull in some more reinforcements via trades. Now, I believe I said almost this exact same thing before the Athletics series started. Like, we need to get some wins the next few weeks while we're waiting on a lot of these, injured players to return from the IL. Now it feels even more important that they don't unnecessarily drop too many games. Like before we get into a stretch where we're going to be playing some better teams, because in August, we've got series against the Red Sox, Yankees, Red Sox again, and Tigers, among others. At least 12 games in August against contending playoff teams. So things are bound to get interesting. We need to get some wins. Do not forfeit any more of the division lead than you already have. You don't want it to be another one of these years where, coming out of the wire, there are 3 different teams between the Astros, Mariners, and Rangers, all vying for the same first place slot in the AL West or fighting for a wild card or whatever it may be. The season has gone too well up to this point. Through 100-plus games, the season has gone too well for us to end up in that spot yet again. And that's why you're hoping Dana Brown can do something at the deadline, and that combined with players returning from injury, particularly how stacked our starting pitching lineup is about to get when you get 4 dudes who we know can eat innings, and in some cases are potential aces, back with the team, back in Astros jerseys, no more Space Cowboys. No disrespect to the Backup Boys trademark copyright, but we clearly have run out of luck as far as getting production from minor leaguers on the offensive side of the ball goes. We need runs. We need to be able to score consistently. And frankly, the last thing I'll say is that I think everyone had hoped that our regulars and dudes like Altuve and Diaz and even Caratini, who's done great in stretches, Walker, like the guys we do have healthy, need to take it upon themselves to produce a little more in this next couple weeks while we're waiting on Yordan, on Pena, on those 4 pitchers, on seeing what happens with the trade deadline in a few days. Like, the dudes who are the beating heart of the team need to step up here in this next series against the Nationals. That's what I would like to see tonight. Clearly, we're in a weird spot in what has been a weird season. But to get at least 2 wins out of this Nationals series would mean the world to what we have going on right now. That will do it for today's show. Remember, we have new episodes dropping every Monday and Friday on youtube.com/@bangingthecan. On that note, please share the most unapologetic Houston sports show in existence with your friends and family. Follow us on social media. We are at Banging the Can on TikTok, at Banging the Can on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads. Check out Bolen Media's other shows. If you're an F1 fan, we have a show called Formula Bone, hosted by Jared J. Bone Borislow, where he brings you a preview and a recap of every race all F1 season long. You can watch on youtube.com/@Formula Bone, Bone. If you're a TV fan, check out Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, where me and my co-host, Mr. Barrett Dudley, who have been doing the show together for almost a decade now. Barrett is also a Houston Astros fan, born and raised in Houston with me. We talk about the best shows on TV all year long. We've done it for years and years and years. We just wrapped up coverage of the Bears Season 4. We're actually about to dive into The Wire and do a throwback all-time great show for some of our coverage on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, which you can enjoy wherever you enjoy Banging the Can. And for more from me, check out the Ross Bolen podcast. I talk comedy, mental health, current events on occasion, random cool facts about animals in the world that we live in. And that's that. I'm Ross Bolen. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at WRBolen. I'll be back Friday with good news, please, for the love of God. Until next time, H-Town. stay down.